live from the Investor Shed. I'm Nick Beveridge here with my co-host Jeremy Kitchen. Good morning.
Good freaking morning, Nick. I just want to say you were looking very good. I know I told you that before the show, but those shoulders and that shirt, it's doing you wonders.
This is a nice shirt. Hillary got me 2 of these because one got stolen in Zion National Park.
Oh,
so she made it up like, oh, one of your favorite shirts got stolen. I'm going to get you 2 now.
How did one of your shirts get stolen?
I left it in an e-bike basket.
Yeah.
And
you have a history of getting clothes stolen.
I do.
Off of vehicles.
That's true. That happened to us in San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco.
Yeah.
We were road tripping and we went up for some drinks right when we got there, left all the luggage strapped at the top of the Montero, and somebody unclipped the luggage, and just Nick's was missing.
Yeah, all my clothes.
And our griddle was missing.
They took the griddle.
That was very unfortunate.
Well, that's smart of them.
That's the best thing.
Yeah. Other than that, we had a really good time in San Francisco.
I had a good time with that trip.
And this was 2007, so it's not like the zombie apocalypse it is today, apparently.
Right. Okay. I haven't been back, I think, since.
So. I heard it's not that great.
Okay.
I hope those bums are enjoying my clothes.
Yeah.
And we had to go to Ross after that.
We did.
Didn't we?
We did.
Replace my wardrobe to finish out the road trip around the United States.
We did.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, payments.
So yeah, payments, everybody. Whoa.
We're going to be talking about payments. This is probably going to be a pretty boring subject, but I think it's exciting, me personally.
Nick, you say boring, but like a lot of investor folk, they love numbers. I think we're not in the minority here that like we love looking at data.
Yes. And this may not be new news to some of you out there. I'm sure a lot of you get off to spreadsheets and interest savings. But for those that don't spend all their time on spreadsheets, I hope this episode is interesting because we're going to go over mortgage payments.
Yeah.
And how they are put together, how you can kind of hack them to save the most money over time. Or the most interest, how credit card payments work, and how you can just be better in the know of how these payments work. That way you can make better, quicker decisions in your investing career.
Because we were talking before the show too, like there's an optimization sweet spot in a lot of these programs where you can actually save the most and have it not affect your like your cash on cash returns or anything like that. So like there's a sweet spot for how much you should be paying on a mortgage if you want to pay it off in the most efficient way.
Yeah. And we talk about credit cards a lot. What we don't really always talk about is how the payments work.
Yeah. We talk about how we get our Gemini rewards all the time.
Yes. But did you know that you could, not a lot of people know this, but did you know that even if you have a 20% interest rate on your credit card, the first month or so that you're making payments, you're not getting charged any interest. And you could be doing this every month. You can be leveraging with credit cards every month, getting the rewards. As long as you're paying off within your grace period, it's a free loan. Of course, most Americans, they like to just pay that minimum payment there and let the interest rack up. Because, they get ahead of themselves or whatever. But we'll talk about the do's and don'ts with credit cards, how the payments actually work, what it's like if you just made minimum payments for extended periods of time and how much you could actually pay.
In my mind, and we'll talk about it too, but like in my mind, when someone makes a minimum payment on a credit card, it's like when you flush a toilet, but then the toilet just doesn't flush and it just like keeps like adding new water and keeps flushing. Like you're not actually getting anywhere. It just continues to move. Yeah.
And so when it comes to real estate investing and mortgage payments, I'm sure you've heard this. I'm sure a lot of people hear this. There's this little like tweets of advice out there like, hey, if you just make a little extra on your payment, you can actually shave years off your mortgage sometimes.
Which isn't false.
Not false. And they make it so easy these days to understand how much you're saving and to set it and forget it. So we'll dive deep into my personal mortgage and what I recently set up that I feel is like a good sweet spot for me to save enough interest over time where I feel like it's a good use of my cash now.
Right.
For certain cash on cash returns versus just making the minimum payment.
Sure.
And everybody has their own opinion on this stuff because everybody makes money differently.
Right.
And that's okay. Everybody's going to have a stronger opinion on just paying debt off right away versus some people are like, give me the lowest payment stretch it out as long as you want.
Yeah.
Because some of those people are really good at making money, and they can take, their cash and they can make 20% returns on it.
Everyone's situation, like you said, is completely different.
Yeah.
We've got Dave Ramsey's of the world. We've got Kiyosaki's who are more risky. We've got, people who are more risky than that. We've got Pace Morbies who leverage everything. We've got there's a line of people here that
there's dust on the table. Sorry. Got it.
Nick got the dust. Anyway, there's a wide range of people who, just have different views on money. So what we pitch here may not work for you, but we want to pitch that there are other options, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So we played a little game before we started this podcast of how much money can we save on our mortgages?
Yeah.
If we, put $50 versus 100 versus 500 versus 1,000 extra per month.
Yeah. And you're talking about paying the mortgage plus paying the extra principal, correct?
Yeah. Just making a little bit extra above your monthly minimums.
Mm-hmm.
Because your monthly minimums are designed to collect the most interest over time. And recent announcements that they may, this may not happen, but they're trying to, our current administration, make a 50-year mortgage available, which they claim can make it easier for people to get into housing by making their mortgage payments less to qualifying for more.
Do you want to talk about that today, or do you want to do that?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it today.
Okay.
We're not going to spend our whole time on it because I made a brief video about it and I put on Facebook, and we had a mastermind call last week where we talked about it for a full half hour.
Nice.
And what the payment differences are like on certain loan amounts. And and then Brett Shoemaker made a great little post of, hey, realistically, it's not really that great. We'll talk why, but there's a lot of negativity about it.
Yeah.
And then there's a few, including myself actually, that are still slightly in support of it.
Yeah. I'm honestly in support of it because if we're going to dive into it now, like, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know how long you want to spend on this thing, but if we're going to dive into it now, like, the way I think of it is just another tool in a tool belt for somebody to get pre-approved. Do you have to use a 50-year mortgage? No.
I think it's a horrible idea. However, I think there's a worse idea, and that's renting.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing I'm going to say about what's great about a 50-year loan is that at least it's not renting.
Right. And this it allows a barrier to entry. So, if you're saving $500 a month, and I think some people chuckle at that number like, it doesn't matter, but like, that's a big number of Americans who can actually re-afford a house.
Well, it's not quite 500 on your average.
Right.
Because they're using like average mortgages that are around 400,000.
Okay.
And they're showing a difference of about $200 or so, $250, something like that with the current interest rates where they are.
Yeah.
And stretching that mortgage out an extra, from the traditional and typical 30-year, which wasn't always that typical either. What was typical was 15 years, and then the 30 kind of got popular and was also introduced with a lot of scrutiny, like the 50-year. And then it just kind of got adopted as normal, even though you can save a ton of money over time by paying a mortgage off in 15 years versus 30.
Yeah.
However, what everybody kind of started adopting and realizing was, well, I could just get the 30-year mortgage and make extra payments and make it kind of mirror maybe a 15-year mortgage, but won't have to be obligated to that higher payment if I ever fall on rough times. But Americans being Americans, they always just want to pay the least amount every month, no matter what it costs long term, because they don't have any vision. Most.
And I think
not everybody.
and I will say this, like, for investors too, like, we are prone to kicking the can down the road a little bit sometimes. Sometimes you have to refinance your flips. Like, this didn't exactly go as
our country does it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is just how money works, unfortunately. Like, sometimes you think you're going to get things done in a certain amount of time, and it just doesn't happen, and you have to make changes on the fly. What I like about the 50-year mortgage is what you said is, it's 100% better than renting.
Right.
And it's just another way to get into a house.
It's another way to get into a house. The funny thing is about a 30-year mortgage, most people refinance or sell anyway.
Yep.
The majority of people, like 98%, and I'm making this number up, but it's probably close to accurate.
Yeah.
Most people do not get a 30-year mortgage and then make the payments for 30 years and pay the house off.
Yep.
Most people move every 5 to 7 years. Or if they stay in their house,
they refi.
They refi at some point when they have a good chunk of equity and they can use it like an ATM machine, pay off other debts, and they restart the clock. And that's why the mortgage got its name, mortgage, which means until death.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, think about morticians.
Oh.
The term mortgage means until death.
Oh yeah,
it's a death contract.
Oh.
Because they know you're going to be making payments until you die,
right?
Most likely, not everybody, but the majority of people.
And again, like this is so much better than renting. And what it does is it allows maybe just if it's 1 million people extra that can actually get approved for a house.
Yes,
that's pretty cool. And what it does, if real estate does appreciate over time, like it generally has,
right?
These people start building equity, and then it's going to start getting them out of the trash can too. Like I just don't see a downside with it other than paying interest long term. But most Americans are willing to pay interest, and we've talked about this, right? Because,
and I'll add to your point. I think more even stronger than that is the fact that they lock in a certain payment.
Yep.
Potentially for the rest of their lives.
Right. Yeah. This is a
30 years is basically the rest of your life. Right? You just call it what it is.
Yeah.
But you're when you are renting properties, you're not locked in.
No.
And you are going to pay more every year.
Your rents go up
and you're
just about every year.
And your net worth, it's so incredibly hard to grow your net worth.
Yes.
When society is extracting more and more from you every year.
Right.
At least with a mortgage, a death contract, at least you're in contract to pay, a certain amount. We're talking principal and interest here, not taxes and insurance. We know that can go up.
Yep.
But at least your what you actually owe on the house is locked in.
Yep.
Your balance, typically, as long as you're making payments, is locked in. Different from a credit card, where if you have a certain balance, your balance can actually go up every month.
Yeah.
Because your interest can stack on top of itself.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're paying compounding interest.
Yeah, you're going in the hole very quickly with that method.
You can, or it could be slow. It depends on how your credit card's set up. But just something to consider, at least with a death contract.
Yeah,
you're locked in. Yeah, you're going to be a slave to making payments for the rest of your life.
You already are anyway.
But what would you rather have? So the average payment right now is about $2,500.
Okay.
For the average house in this area, taxes and not including taxes and insurance. I'm not talking about that,
right.
But the average PITI on your average $500,000 house.
Your PI, not the TI.
Yep. And rents have come down. Because we've had an influx of supply.
Yeah.
A lot of new construction apartments being built in this area, and this doesn't happen often, but it happened. Our rents have come down a little bit from the peak. Now, if you were to look on a graph, like every 5 years, rents have been going up. They traditionally go up about 4% a year. So if you got a mortgage today, you're probably going to pay a few $100s more than a renter for a similar house. But in 10 years, you're going to be paying the same amount.
Right.
Today,
20 years.
If you get let's say a $2,000 rental for the same house, in 10 years, the way the market has moved and the way it's potentially going to move, and with coming supply and lack of, we can anticipate still 4% annual growth rents in this area, which would put your $2,000 a month today. Only 10 years from now, you'll probably be paying about $3,700 a month. And I'm not making this up off the top of my head. We actually did calculations on one of our last mastermind calls. So at least you're locked into maybe $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
Versus that, and you have nobody's telling you can't have a dog.
Right.
You can live. You have some skin in the game with America.
You can't get evicted for hey, by the way, we're selling the house. You have to move. We're terminating your lease type of thing.
If you don't pay, you can get evicted by the sheriff.
Yeah, of course.
Called a foreclosure. But as long as you're paying, at least you have some security.
Yep.
That you're locked into a certain payment. Now, of course, your local jurisdictions can always raise property taxes on you.
Right.
And your insurance can always raise insurance rates on you. You can shop insurance. You can play with that. You don't always have complete control, but with rents, you have no control.
Right.
You have no control about where you live long term, because they can always tell you to move out, no matter how good of a tenant you are.
Yeah.
And you're just getting by. Maybe it's a good choice for you if you don't think you want to be in this area long term, and maybe you're just going to be here for a couple of years and you're planning to move to Texas or whatever. maybe don't buy a house then, because it's going to cost you more to buy and sell
Right.
than it will just to rent for a couple of years. But if you're planning on staying here for a decade or longer, you should probably really consider buying a house, because it's just going to be smart long term. That's what I think. That's what a lot of people think.
How do you think turning these 50-year mortgages into rentals would look on like a numbers level, right? Because obviously you're going to have a lower minimum payment, but if rents are still increasing, do you think you're going to see increased cash flow by having one of those 50-year mortgages on a rental situation where you buy it and rent it out?
It's interesting to bring this up. I think if a 50-year mortgage is an option for investors, and it doesn't cost much extra. So I think this is what investors are going to look at. If the interest rate is the same from a 30-year to a 50-year, I think the majority will pick 50 years.
Yeah, I agree.
If the interest rate is a quarter point higher for a 50-year, I think most investors are still going to pick a 50-year. Just to save a couple $100 a month.
I mean, that all
if
comes
it's
off
much
the
higher than a quarter point, I think you're dependent on the price points and stuff. I think a lot of them will kind of look logically like, I should probably just stick with the 30-year. I think everybody's desperately trying to make a property cash flow.
Yeah, but an extra $200 a month on a cash flowing property is a big deal for a lot of people. Like,
and you could just take that and you could just be throwing it at automatically. At that mortgage to kind of mirror then a 30-year mortgage. But what I would recommend, only look at deals that make sense for maybe a 15-year mortgage.
Right.
And then get a 30-year mortgage and then make payments as if it's a 15-year mortgage to maybe save the most amount of interest over time. But I also believe in diversifying your money cash that you have. I would consider it actually kind of still a low return investment, but at least it's some sort of guaranteed return.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, like, if you were to look at my personal house, I did some calculations. And by the way, I am a believer in making a little bit extra on your mortgages to shave that down, because it really does help. I think it's a great return on your cash.
Yeah.
Most of the time I can make a better return doing other things, but anytime I can set it and forget it and be comfortable with a certain payment, I'll try that.
Yeah. It also just like instantly increases your net worth too. Like, it's not like huge, but like, but it does make a big difference in the long run. We'll do the numbers here.
Yeah. So my personal mortgage on my personal house, this isn't one of my rentals. I owe $306,000 on my personal house and $489. My interest rate is locked in at 3%.
Nice.
What I decided, which made the most sense for me, money I would never even notice that was gone, but it would still make a big impact and have a good cash on cash return. I settled on $175 a month extra. So bringing my payment to like $1,900 a month after taxes and insurance.
Hey, look at that.
And if you plug that in to the amortization calculator, you can see that instead of paying my mortgage off in 2051, it pays it off in 2047. Not a huge difference for 4 years.
I mean, you shave 4 years off of 30. That's not bad.
But look at the amount of interest that you save. If I just set it and forget it, don't even notice it, I'll save $21,605.
Nice. Just by paying an extra $175 a month.
Yep. And that's approximately a 47% cash on cash return over time.
Cool.
With the amount of that 175 over that 20 years or so. Hey, quick commercial break here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I really do appreciate it. If you want to give back, let me help you buy a house, or I can help you sell a house. It's the only way I make money when I'm not investing in real estate. I don't make money on this podcast or the events I do, but I do make money only when I help people buy and sell houses. So if you're looking for your next investment and you're here in North Idaho, I want to help you personally. If you are not in North Idaho, I can still help you out. I have a vast network of referral partners all across the country, and I can find the right real estate investor savvy agent for you so you don't have to. It doesn't cost you a thing. Thank you for your support. Back to the show. So I've done the calculations before this podcast, but I know that it's like a 47% return.
Sure.
Now, it kind of actually peaks out. You would think, most people would think, and I thought too, well, if I make an extra $1,000 a month, how much am I saving then? even less of a return, cash on cash return is what I'm talking about. Not, you definitely save a lot more interest. So if I made an extra $1,000 a month.
Define cash on cash for a minute. That's just like the amount of savings that you'd save in a year, right? Is that what cash on cash is? Based off of your initial investment?
So what cash on cash mean that like what kind of returns are you getting for the actual dollars and that you're investing?
Right.
Not leveraged,
right?
Or anything. So my cash, let's say if I'm investing $1,000 into something,
that's lifetime cash on cash. So 47%, right?
Right, okay. Not annually.
Yeah.
Annually would be sweet.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. Most cash on cash returns are when you hear a certain percentage of COC, that means on an annual basis.
Right. And to like break that down from like how investors see it. So say you pay $100,000 for a house, just for simple math, right? And then your rents come in and you make $20,000 for rents on top of that's a net. So your cash on cash would be 20%.
Say that one more time.
No. Investor puts in $100,000. They buy a house, free and clear, $100,000.
Right.
Easy math, right? They make $20,000 on the
gross rents.
On their gross rents. Is it gross or net? So
it's net.
Okay, yeah.
Your cash on cash. So if you invest, you have $100,000 in your bank, you buy a rental with that $100,000.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, if you have $20,000 in your bank account that didn't go towards expenses at all, and that's just the net income, and you still own the asset, that is a 20%.
That's a huge deal, of course.
Cash on cash return.
Yeah.
Those deals out there, they do exist.
Right. Typically, like you see like investors say like,
like
7 to 8% cash on cash is like what you see for like an annualized thing that I've seen for people being like, oh, this is a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Well, it's also like your down payment.
Yeah.
So you can, that's a good way to, is your cash working
the
for
money you put in, correct.
Yeah. So I forgot where I was going with that, but you just gave a better example than I was going to give.
Okay.
I was going to give an example of like if I lent you $10,000, and then over 1 year you paid me back $11,000. That's a 10% cash on cash return.
Easy way to look at it too. Yeah.
Now over time, putting in that 175 over time, we shaved some years off the mortgage automatically.
Yeah.
And it calculated to be a 47% cash on cash return because it's less interest that I would have paid if I didn't do it.
Right. And you're saving, what was it? Yeah, the $21,000 in interest?
$21,600. Yeah.
That's great.
With an investment of, let's see. So let's do a quick calculation. Can you do 2047 minus 2025? How many years is that?
47.
Yep.
Minus 2025.
Yep. And that's how many years?
22
years. Okay. Now take 22 years and multiply that by 12.
264.
So 264 months of paying 175. So take 264 and multiply that by 175.
46.2.
Okay. So the amount of cash I would be investing extra into my mortgage would be over time $46,200. What's my return on that?
Yeah.
My return is I saved by doing that.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
I saved $21,605 of interest that I wouldn't have had to pay.
Cool.
Just by that little amount. It compounds.
Yeah.
Over time. Because you're bringing your principal down
faster.
And then the mortgage company they can only charge you your interest rate, the 3%, on what your current principal is.
Right.
And that's what saves you the money.
Gotcha.
Everybody thinks that all these loans are set up, so that the most interest is made right at the beginning. And that's true, but that's just because that's where your balance is the highest.
Right. Yeah.
When you get a loan,
that's at your all-time high, right when you get the thing.
Yeah, because right when you get the loan, that's when your balance is the highest, and of course that's when you're going to pay the most interest because you're getting charged.
Your balance is the highest. Yeah.
Your balance is the highest that month.
Sure.
That first month, that first payment, that's going to be your highest interest payment.
Yeah.
The second month out of your 360 months on a 30-year mortgage, you'll notice that the interest your payment that goes towards that interest, it went down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because your small little, $200 or whatever that was built in, or $100, brought your $400,000 loan down to 399 and blah, 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 blah.
86. Yeah.
And they can only charge you your 3% interest rate based off that amount now.
That makes sense.
So every month your balance is going down slightly. And the reason why, if you just throw an extra $100, $200 or so, it's because you're bringing that balance down that they can only charge you almost. You're almost doubling the rate up front.
Do you think
depending on your mortgage?
I don't know if this is
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Do you think there's a strategy behind like power loading at the beginning of your loan? So I know obviously you're paying $175 extra a month flat, but what if you were to start your loan and you're to do like $500 at the beginning and then like $475 the next month and then like gradually down to like $475? Do you think that would make like a big difference?
Well, sometimes.
Okay.
It depends on how you think about it.
Sure.
Because you will start to get a diminishing return, like you said, like if you just leave it. So it's based off, what is your loan amount?
Right.
They're charging you the same.
Right.
You're always being charged the same amount of interest. So it depends on how you look at it. Okay, I have a loan out there for $200,000. The bank is charging me 3 or 4% interest on it. It's just how much is going towards principal.
Yeah.
Now, if you only, if you're towards the end of your loan and you have $20,000 left on the balance, they're still charging you the same 3%.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just at a much lower amount, but you're still forced to pay the same payment.
Right.
So that's why your principal amount is so much higher.
Sure.
So it really just depends on your flavor, what extra cash you have at that time, because you're always being charged the same amount of interest on whatever the loan balance is.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100% makes sense. I would just never thought about that, like, like front loading it all at the beginning, because like you said, like the first loan is when you have your highest amount.
Yeah.
When you have the highest balance. So technically, yes, your interest is going to be the highest based off that highest amount.
Right.
But if you front load and just hit like, I don't know, the first month you're like, I'll pay $1,000.
If you can afford it, yeah.
And then $975 and then $950 and then like just whittle your way down. Do you think that would save you even more than doing the $175 a month?
Well, it sure would, because then more of that payment would be going towards the principal, just to pay down.
Be interesting to see how that works.
So the very next month, you've paid it down an extra $1,000 or whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
So absolutely, you're definitely saving. It's about finding a balance of not really noticing the payment, and still and making a huge difference over time, because it compounds.
Right.
If that makes sense.
100%.
Because if you can make these large payments, I can make an extra $12,000 of payments this year, and you can't get better returns than 3%.
Right.
Elsewhere, then sure, just throw towards that.
Sure. Even my high yield's at 3.25.
You know what I mean?
Like I can make more money not paying a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's just in a high yield. That's not even like in an investment. That's just my money sitting.
Yeah.
So my money sitting would make more money than paying it off here.
Yeah. When you get a mortgage, you're kicking the can down the road with the interest payments and everything like that for, on average 30 years. Right from the start. So you're kind of agreeing to that. I'll just eat this elephant chunk by chunk, little chunks by chunks. And of course, that elephant's going to get eaten a lot faster if you take bigger bites and chew faster.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You still have a big elephant to eat. But what if, you can just open your mouth a centimeter bigger every time and train yourself to feel like that's normal.
Right.
You would shave, 4 years off eating that,
like you're doing,
that elephant over 30 years.
It's crazy.
It's all about what you can handle. And could my efforts be my strength, or my calories that I have be better used elsewhere versus trying to take a bigger bite of this elephant?
Right. And that's
just something else that, you set on autopilot.
Yeah.
That you can handle at the moment.
I think you're right. Like this definitely depends on, what your goals are, how specific you want to be about paying this exact mortgage off. Like a lot of people have a lot of different financial goals. It's not for us to say what you should and shouldn't do, but there is definitely a sweet spot, like you're saying, for like just pay a little bit extra, and it makes a huge difference. Like that is super cool, seeing that $175 extra a month shaves 4 years off your 30-year plan.
Yeah, and what saves the most interest is not getting a mortgage and just buying a house with cash.
Right.
But it's like, can you get better returns than 3%?
Right.
Or whatever. Maybe you can't every year, and that's why doing something like this, I think this is my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm a fan of debt and I'm a fan of making more on average, I can usually make more returns than if I were to just pay towards mortgages.
Sure.
But I still want to eat those elephants a little bit faster because the loans, like we talked about, they are actually set up to really stretch it and make, double. If you're getting a loan for $400,000, and if you let it go the entire 30 years, over time you're paying like $800,000 for that loan.
I was going to say, like,
depending on the interest rate, but just as a good rule of thumb, just figure double.
Yeah,
double whatever. Now, if you go a 50-year mortgage, now it's triple.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a $400,000 loan, it's actually more than triple. It's more like you're paying $1.45 million, something like that. 1,450,000, and this was at a 6.5% interest rate.
Okay.
So it all depends on the interest rate.
Yep.
And all that stuff. But you just got to know, really, really understand how the payments work, how they're calculated.
Yeah.
And on any given year, do you have extra money sitting around that you can kind of throw at this elephant?
Right.
Or are you making better returns somewhere else?
That's true.
So might as well just let that ride.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense. And we kind of take this the same way. Like on our mortgage, I think we pay 100 or 125 extra a month.
Yeah.
I can't remember the number. We did the thing where you did and we set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And this was 4 years ago where we're just like, let's just pay extra because we can. And like, it's obviously not hurting us at the second. So just throw a little extra to it.
Yeah. And it's also kind of like this is probably one of my more conservative.
Yeah.
One of the more conservative investments that I'm making, but it still makes me feel good. I still get a little dopamine.
Yeah.
When I see that, over 20 something years, I'll save 20,000.
Yeah.
By something I don't really feel right now.
Right. But
because
like you go ahead. Yeah.
And what I like to do is I like to not have a bunch of free cash sitting around.
Right.
And I like to spend it on all kinds of different things. And get used to that. That way I can get used to having to make more money every month. And that's just the way my brain works. And that's the way it's worked well for me. And I know that with the investments I have and stuff, 20 something years from now, my net worth is going to be much larger to where 20 grand won't really mean much. But what if that doesn't happen? Well, there's always that what if I don't become as rich as I think I will?
Yeah,
at least I'll have saved 20 something thousand.
That's true.
By paying this when I could.
Right.
What if I do fall on hard times 7 years from now? You know what I can do? All these mortgages that I'm making extra payments on, I can drop them to their minimums, and then I'll free up $1,000 a month. Pretty cool, right?
You could also depending on how hard times get, you can refi those.
Right, but then you're restarting clocks over.
Restarting the
probably
clock.
Last minute.
Again, we're kicking the can down the road a lot anyway. Like if push comes to shove and you need $200,000 of tax-free income, refinances are a good option.
Sure.
Like if your investment, like if you can refinance these investments and then get them into another house, like that's not a bad deal. Like, yeah, you might restart the clock or whatever, but as long as your rent can afford it, and that's up to your own due diligence, of course.
Yeah.
But what I want to get at is obviously,
we definitely want the rents to be able to afford it.
Right. Of course. But what I'm getting at here is obviously with this particular model, you're saving $20,000 over the course of 30 years. A guy like
22 years.
22 years, okay. A guy like you can manufacture $22,000 in a day or two. Like if you were really hungry, you could go wholesale deals. Like you could make $22,000 instantly.
Yeah, but then
So how big of a deal is that? It's not a big deal that you're doing it. So
no, but I also you've got to do what you can to reduce your expenses.
Yes,
and this is reducing expenses over time on autopilot.
Right.
By if you can make a little extra per month, I think you should.
Yeah.
I don't think you should take all the money you have and invest it, because if you're good at finding investments, you may not need extra money. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because great investments, you can typically try to find partners or something like that. And then some of you out there might be thinking that are smarter than me, and you're damn right. Well, if you had the cash, you wouldn't need to bring in the investors, and you're saving money.
It's true
there too, and that is true. I just think about it a little bit differently. If the more partners I have, the more opportunities eventually come to me,
right?
And I don't mind sharing the wealth.
Yeah.
So I'd rather pay my mortgage company less and partners more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. And again, like this is all going to come down to personal, whatever you feel, right? Because
it's totally personal. Yeah.
Like, because we think of money, I think a lot in the same ways, but like I would rather like partner with a deal with you than go out and try to find my own thing. I'm just like, that's not the investor I am. Like, I'm very happy getting the returns that you give me on the investments we do, and I'm very happy as you as a partner.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm happy with other partners, but it's just like, I'd rather do these things and make a little bit and be a cool little contributing partner than like go out and find something and like fail on my own. Like, I feel like we're building it together rather than failing by myself.
Totally couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And if you ever listen to Tony Robbins books and everything,
Tony Robbins,
he makes something. He breaks down human motivation into feelings, which is interesting, because no matter how autistic you think you are, or how much of an introvert you think you are,
or how autistic you think Nick is,
humans tend to do everything based off feelings.
Yes.
Anyway, everything you're doing, if you break it down to, okay, well, why did you do that? And why did you do that? And why did you do that? If someone like a child just kept asking you why, eventually you get down to, well,
I don't know.
It just feels good.
Yeah. I just wanted to. Yeah.
Why'd you decide to do that? And when it comes to paying down your mortgage quicker, it just feels good.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's just a game. Money's a game. Unfortunately, it used to be a store of value when we had the gold reserve, but now that it's a fiat currency, we're playing a game and we're hedging against inflation and we're moving our money around a bunch, or you can let it just sit and compound somewhere. There's so many different things you can do with your money, but I think you can make better decisions out there if you understand how payments work, which I don't think a lot of people understand how payments work.
Let's talk about it if you want to kind of go into it.
Well, we did a little bit.
I was like, yeah, we kind of did.
But let's talk about credit cards.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is funny. I've been using credit cards my entire adult life. I'm 38.
I turned 18, and I'm sure you did the same. I got a secure credit card for $500, so I paid $500 to have a $500 credit line.
Here's something I never really even noticed until lately. Credit cards don't charge you interest until they bill you and give you an opportunity to pay off that balance. And if you just decide to make the minimum payment, then they charge you interest on what you have revolving.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I could just be using credit cards and paying them off and getting all the points as long as I just budgeted well, like, let's not go crazy. And I'll just use my credit card instead of my debit card.
Yep. We talk about this all the time.
Now I just use my Gemini credit card for like 90% of my stuff.
It's my debit card, yeah.
And the rewards rack up into it's just buying Bitcoin.
Right.
And it's just another way of playing the game. So anywhere where I can spend my credit card and it not cause additional fees, like credit card, there's a lot of companies out there like, yeah, you can use your credit card for an additional 2.5% or 3%.
Right.
I don't do that. Then I break out my debit card.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay that or do ACH or something like that.
Right.
I don't want to pay 3% to make 2%.
Right.
But it feels good to know that, oh, I can use all my credit cards and not have to, pay interest on them as long as I just pay them off.
Yeah. As long as you do not have a revolving balance, you should not be paying interest.
And if I do have a revolving balance, it's not like I'm actually paying 20% or 18% if I'm doing a flip project that lasts 3 months and I rack up a bunch of credit cards.
That's why it's annualized percentage rate.
Yeah, well, it's daily.
It's daily,
but it's still on an annual basis. Right. So, like, for instance, let's see, if I have a credit card with an insanely high interest rate, which I have a few of these.
Yeah, I've got a couple.
At like 26%. And let's say I put $40,000 on these credit cards.
Sure.
If I actually didn't pay them off and we just made minimum payments,
it's at $100 a month.
A lot of
I'm sure your minimum payment would be higher than that.
Oh, so this you can change.
Okay, yeah.
You can change this too.
We're just looking at a calculator here, but like,
yeah,
let's say 300. I don't know.
Let's say a $40,000 balance. Typically, I would usually see something like you got to pay like $500 a month on something like that. And the way credit card companies bill you and tell you, what you owe, it's not amortized necessarily. But it's like just slightly below, like for instance, if you have $475 worth of interest due from the month before,
yeah,
they might say you have a minimum payment of $500 here.
right.
$25 will go towards your principal,
Yep.
bringing it down. So you will pay it off at some point. The like overwhelming majority is going to go towards that. For instance, if you had a $40,000 balance with a 26% interest rate, it would take you approximately 50 years to pay off if you just made the minimum payments of $500 a month. And you would have paid.
What's your total interest? What does that say? $783,000 on a $400,000 or on a $40,000?
Yeah, $3,000 over time is what you could end up paying if you just never pay that thing off, and if you just made minimum payments.
That's nuts.
And it's possible.
It is.
There's
totally
a lot of people
possible
that rack up credit card debt over time and they'll just stay, and they'll just stay in debt.
Right.
What I recommend is don't buy liabilities on credit cards,
or just use
only
it as a
use them
card.
as use it as an investment. It's something that you're going to be able to pay off within a few months, because if you do that, you're not actually paying 26%.
Right.
You're paying like a fourth of that if it's a 3-month period or so.
Sure. And with that, with like short-term debt like that, yeah, it kind of makes sense to use your credit card, because the slip's gonna get done unless anything weird happens in the market. You've done all your due diligence. You know when this house should sell. You know what if it sells for you, how much profit you'll make, and you bake all this numbers into that.
Yeah, you can bake it into your cost for buying a property if you don't have the $40,000 available in cash, so you just skip on the investment. But what if that investment can make you $50,000?
Right.
And you end up having to pay $2,600 worth of interest on these credit cards.
Right.
That 3 months over time, but then you also got $400 or $500 in rewards, for all the materials that you were charging. The credit card's going to be making money, but so are you. So I'm a big fan. Why not? Because if you went to somebody else and said, hey, can you loan me 40 or 50 grand for this renovation, they'll probably want a second mortgage on your house, be extra secure, and they'll probably want a loan fee for being in second position. That will probably be, close to 10% or 20%.
Yeah.
A fee, not necessarily annual interest. So you can easily spend, okay, I'll borrow $40,000 from my friend, and I just have to pay him $5,000 back in a fee.
Yeah.
You have probably been way better off using credit cards, because you don't need the permission. There's no title work to be done and putting you on the mortgage, and all that stuff costs fees too.
Oh yeah, there's fees
having to pay for it. And then you're paying back your buddy, his $40,000 plus a large amount of interest in just 3 months or something like that.
That's true.
So just as long as you understand how these things work, and I'm paying 26% interest annually, but this project's going to take 3 months, so I'm not paying that.
Right.
Unless it did.
Right. What I love about this too, and this is kind of, I would say, 2.0 on credit cards, specifically with businesses. So this is a business expense for you. If you were to do that for a flip, these are business expenses. Not only are you getting the write-off.
Yeah.
So you're getting the write-off for your business, actually,
for the interest that you're paying on the credit card.
That you're paying, and for the actual whatever you bought. That then you get to points on your business credit card too.
Yes, yes, you do.
I switched with GingerSnap.
Harder for the IRS to track those too.
I switched all my payments from GingerSnap. Everything I do that IRS. They don't listen to us.
Okay, good.
They might. I'm kind of under heavy fire.
So all those late extension fees are driving me crazy.
Buddy, thanks.
Come on, just waive them already.
Yeah, come on.
It's like 4 years ago. I keep sending you the postage stamp.
No, but so I switched everything that I do for GingerSnap payments to credit cards.
Well, that's cool.
Everything.
Are they actual business credit cards?
Yes.
How do you get those?
I just went to Google and I typed in best business credit cards to apply for.
Yeah. Are you still a personal guarantee or anything like that?
I think I am on a couple of them, but I think they still go into they affect my Dun & Bradstreet number.
Oh, okay. How'd you get a Dun & Bradstreet?
You have to go to Dun & Bradstreet and then just file and get an account.
Their website or something?
Yeah, go to their account and get a free thing that says okay, you got a DBS number.
Okay.
Once you get your DBS number, basically that's how you can start tracking it. And then I learned this all through the Gator method, actually, with Face Morby. They were doing okay, because they want to get you set up with all these business credit cards so you can go do Gator lending out of that.
Yeah.
But I was just this is actually a good way to build credit too.
Sure. Business credit.
Yeah, business credit. And Yeah, everything goes through one of my Chase cards or my Amazon card, depending on where and when I'm buying. The Chase cards is for like a majority of my photo editing services, my 11 Labs, which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, 11 Labs is fun.
I used it the other day for Chris Briner.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man, we did some wrong narration in a video. And I'm like, I think I can fix this.
Oh,
and
nice.
I just AI'd his voice. That was really cool.
Was he like, that's cool?
Yeah. He said creepy.
It is kind of creepy.
It's kind of weird. But anyway, all of my subscriptions, all my payments go through my Chase Unlimited card, and I get points for travel to that. Anything I need for like camera gear, it's typically easier to buy on Amazon, and I get a like 6% cash back on Amazon.
Yeah.
So I just buy it on the Amazon card and then pay that off instantly, and then I just buy cool things I want with the extra. Like I
get toys.
I just bought a $400 iPad mini for free because I had business points. I'm like, that's super cool.
That is nice.
Yeah.
You should have asked us. We have an iPad that we may not use anymore.
No, it's too late now.
Dang it.
Was it old?
No, it's a new one.
Oh.
We got it for signing up at our REI meetups,
mm-hmm.
and it just was not working well with our database, and so we're just back to using sign-in sheets.
Oh.
So now we have a new iPad that we have really no use for right now.
Well, I'm sure you can find
I'm sure we can find a use for it. Please reach out if you need an iPad. I'm kidding. We're not going to give one away to you guys. Guys, you're not that.
Yeah, we'll sell you one. Well, yeah, we can sell it. We're just you can't have it.
All right.
But yeah, like that's what I use. So like I use like the credit cards to stack with my business, and I pay them off just like I would my debit cards. Yep. I pay them off like, I pay $400 for my photo editing. I just go and make a $400 payment that day, and I'm like, cool. It's like using my debit card anyway.
Right. Yeah. Let's touch back before we end this real quick on the 50-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Because that might actually be a thing that will start up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a thing. They're trying to get it passed. Right now, the Dodd-Frank Act limits these conventional qualified mortgages to 30 years
mm-hmm.
max. But if they can get that regulation lifted.
When was it put into place that there was a 30-year max?
The Dodd-Frank Act? So that was like around the Obama era.
Yeah. So I mean, this is like a 20-year-old policy now. Like they very well could change that.
Yeah, I don't think it is that old. 15,
okay.
20, maybe 16 years, something like that. I don't know. But the 40-year mortgage is actually a thing on non-QM loans. Not many people get it because your payments, you're not going to save much because it costs an extra fee, little extra interest to get this longer loan. It saves you just slightly, but you pay so much more for it in the long term. So unless they can come out with this 50-year mortgage that doesn't actually increase the interest rate,
mm-hmm.
then it might actually be a little bit more appetizing slightly for those that just need it just to get into a house.
Yeah.
But I would really encourage people to not get it unless it makes or breaks the deal and you really need the house.
Right.
And it's really not going to put you, but I mean, if you're in such a bind to make $200 a month work on a $400,000 mortgage, that you're going to potentially go from, paying, closer to, $400,000 worth of interest on something like that, or 440 to, over $1 million in interest, just by saving $200 a month. What you're basically doing, you're paying the same. This is what a lot of people don't understand, and I just want to get this across one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay that people don't understand this because we're not really taught this on a regular basis, how these payments work. But if you get a mortgage for $400,000 and you have a 6.3% interest rate,
mm-hmm.
you're getting on a 50-year mortgage. It's this you're spending the same amount of interest on that annually with that balance.
Yeah.
They're just letting you pay little less principal.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're saving any interest.
Yep.
You're probably paying more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the small tiny hair that goes towards your at first that
mm-hmm.
goes towards your principal, it's even a smaller hair.
Right.
That's what I want to get across, that you're still paying the same amount.
Yeah.
You just get to pay that same amount longer.
Mm-hmm. Which I think like a lot of people are okay with, to be honest with you. Again, like if I was put in a place where I only had options, and for some reason my mortgage specialist said like, hey, we can't get you approved for 30.
Yep.
We can't get you approved for anything, but this new thing that's 50, it's expensive. You'll pay for it longer. it's gonna save you a little bit of money.
Yep.
But in my head, knowing what I know about like money and houses and stuff, like just get in when you can.
Right, and that's a good point too, because you can always switch it to
you can
refi. Mortgages are not. You don't have to keep them forever.
Right.
You can sell your house 5 years from now, and then your mortgage is gone. You can refinance it 5 years from now, and then your mortgage is just reset.
You can see a great run up of appreciation just by doing that. Like, say you buy your $400,000 house, right? In 2 years, what if the market does what it did in 2021? I don't want to engage in like speculative market.
Yeah.
But like, if it like 1.5 in 2 years and you sell the house, that's tax-free money for you too, because you lived in your primary residence for 2 years. That you would have never had that opportunity renting.
Yeah. Yes. So it is a good point. Bottom line, still better than renting, because when you rent a house, you're not guaranteed shit at all.
It's true.
It's just, here's what you get for 12 months. We will not raise the rent.
Yeah.
Basically.
The guarantee most leases, there's really no guarantee other than the 12-month lease you get.
You get 1 year of a fixed payment, and it'll probably go up next year if we're not dumb.
Yep.
With a 50-year mortgage, at least you're locked in.
Yeah.
Here's your payment. It won't go up higher than this unless your taxes or insurance goes up. But that's not to your bank.
And I think that in particular, like that helps so many people.
So at least you can get in the game. And then you have 50 years to figure it out. You can just sit there and make payments forever. You can make your small little elephant bites for 50 years instead of 30.
Yep.
Or you can get the 50 and you can make payments as if it's a 30. And then if you ever fall on hard times, your payments could be less.
Yeah. Just back off a little bit.
I just don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
When you play with the math and the calculators, it just doesn't make sense to me and my position, but somebody else might be different.
I've done a lot of things in my life, Nick, that I've thought like as soon as I was done, like that wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard for me to judge someone else for getting a 50 when I'm like, just do it. It doesn't, I don't think it matters. Like it doesn't hurt me at all.
Right. But again, if you know you're going to stay here for as long as you can, and you really love the house, and you have to get a 50-year mortgage just to get into it, and it's going to cost about the same as renting, maybe a little bit more. Why not?
Right.
You know, I mean, have some skin in the game. Buy America.
Yeah.
When you buy a house, you're buying into this country.
Yeah.
Because then you have some stake, some skin in the game. Renters, they no offense out there, but a lot of them just don't have any skin in the game.
It's true.
They don't care how this country runs unless they own part of it.
Yeah.
And then they get taken advantage of the most because they will get they statistically have such a smaller net worth over than homeowners.
Right.
And homeowners almost always get mortgages. But the way our fiat currency is set up, like our dollar is going to be worth less every year. Might as well lock something in.
I agree with you.
Play the game.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's all I got.
That's all I got too. I'm done.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for checking out the Investor Shed podcast. If you enjoyed your time, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow along on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at The Investor Shed for shorts and promos about each episode. Do you want to be a guest or know someone who has great real estate investing advice and stories? Reach out to us at theinvestorshed@gmail.com.